Centuries ago, ancient monks created magic beans to build a gateway to the heavens. But instead of finding paradise, they unleashed a horde of ruthless giants who invaded the human realm. To stop the slaughter, the king forged a magical crown from a giant's heart, forcing the monsters into submission and driving them back to their sky kingdom of Gantua. The connecting beanstalk was cut, and the magic beans were buried alongside the king, slowly turning the history into a bedtime legend. Years later, a poor farm boy named Jack grows up fascinated by these old stories. Following his father's death, he was left under the care of his strict uncle. When their farmhouse roof begins to collapse, Jack's uncle sends him to the local market to sell their horse and wagon for repair funds. While in town, Jack gets distracted by a puppet show retelling the giant legend. Amid the crowd, Jack notices a group of rowdy men harassing a young woman. He intervenes to protect her, taking a harsh hit in the process. Before the fight can escalate further, royal knights suddenly surround the area, forcing the crowd to their knees. The woman is revealed to be Princess Isabel, who is immediately escorted back to the palace by the guard captain. Jack returns to his spot to find his wagon stolen, leaving him with only the horse. On his way out of the market, a desperate monk approaches him, offering to buy the horse for 10 times its value. Lacking cash on hand, the monk hands Jack a small pouch containing 5 strange beans as collateral, instructing him to bring them to the abbey for full payment. Before disappearing, the monk issues one firm warning: the beans must never come into contact with water. Unbeknownst to Jack, the monk had just broken into the royal vault to steal these ancient relics. Lord Roderick discovers the vault ransacked and realizes the magic beans are missing, though King Eric's crown remains untouched. Roderick locks down the city gates and puts a bounty on the monk's head. Jack returns home to find his uncle waiting in a fury. Angry that Jack traded their only valuable horse for a handful of useless beans, his uncle violently swats them out of Jack's hand, scattering them across the floorboards. As Jack scrambles to pick them up, one single bean slips through a crack in the floor, dropping into the dirt under the house unnoticed. That same night at the castle, Princess Isabel argues with her father, King Bromwell. She refuses to marry Lord Roderick, a scheming nobleman twice her age whom she does not love. When the king refuses to compromise, Isabel disguises herself as a commoner and escapes into the night to find freedom. A violent thunderstorm strikes while she is out in the open countryside. Seeing a small light in the distance, she knocks on the door of Jack's humble cottage seeking shelter from the rain. Jack recognizes her immediately as the princess from the market earlier that day. Flustered by her unexpected presence, he invites her inside. The two share a quiet moment, talking about adventure and freedom. However, their brief meeting is cut short. Outside, heavy rain leaks through the broken roof, dripping through the floorboards and soaking the hidden magic bean underneath. Absorbing the water, the bean instantly sprouts, causing the entire cottage to violently shake. A wooden table topples over during the collapse, trapping Isabel underneath. Jack rushes forward to pull her free, but the massive stalk erupts through the structure, hoisting the remnants of the house and the trapped princess high into the clouds. Jack scrambles up the exterior vines to reach her. Isabel manages to open the door and reaches out her hand to pull him inside, but the rotting wooden floorboards beneath Jack give way. As he slips, he lunges for her hand, managing only to snag her mother's bracelet before plunging back toward the earth. The thick leaves break his fall, and he hits the ground, losing consciousness. The next morning, King Bromwell arrives at the site with his royal guards. When Jack awakens, he hands over the bracelet and explains what occurred. Staring up at the colossal beanstalk towering into the clouds, the king orders an elite squad of guards to climb the stalk and retrieve the princess. As the sole witness, Jack is recruited to lead the way. The expedition team scales the vine for hours, climbing through torrential rain and violent lightning as day turns to night. As the storm worsens, several soldiers lose their grip and fall into the abyss. To keep the entire team from being dragged down, the remaining climbers are forced to cut their safety ropes. By dawn, the survivors break through the cloud layer, stepping onto a floating landmass hidden above the sky. Unbeknownst to them, they have entered Gantua, the ancient realm of the giants. Before the group can set out to track Isabel, Lord Roderick corners Jack at knife point. Suspecting Jack holds the rest of the magic beans, Roderick forces him to hand over his pouch, warning him to keep the encounter secret. Jack surrenders the pouch to stay alive, but keeps one bean hidden inside his locket. Pressing deeper into the dense forest, they follow a trail of subtle markers left behind by Isabel. Coming across a flock of wild sheep, Jack and a soldier move in to secure food, accidentally stepping into a crude log snare that violently hauls them upside down into the air. As Captain Elmont rushes to cut the rope harness, flocking birds suddenly scatter from the tree line in a panic. Sensing immediate danger, the team takes cover behind nearby trees. Meanwhile, Jack dives into a shallow stream to submerge himself. Moments later, a giant emerges from the forest, grabs a live sheep and swallows it whole. One panicked soldier shifts his position to look, making a noise that draws the monster's attention. Before the man can flee, the giant uproots an entire tree and knocks him unconscious with a single blow. The giant towers over the fallen soldier, leaning in close to catch his scent with wide, curious nostrils. Finding a human for the first time in thousands of years, the giant lifts the man and opens his jaws for a quick meal. Before he can bite, Elmont rushes in to intervene. He strikes the giant's foot with his sword, but the blow barely registers, and the giant easily tosses him aside. Intrigued by the new catch, the monster restrains Elmont and heads back toward the giant stronghold to show off his captives. Hidden beneath the water, Jack slips out of hiding to track the monster through the dense forest. Meanwhile, on another side of the island, Lord Roderick leads his remaining men to a steep cliffside. To eliminate any witnesses to his treasonous plans, Roderick tricks a royal guard into looking over the edge, shoving him off to his death. But before he can celebrate, giants emerge from the surrounding terrain, trapping him entirely. With no escape route left, Roderick scrambles into his pack and pulls out King Eric's stolen magic crown. Inside the giant fortress, Princess Isabel is trapped in an iron cage. General Fallon, the two-headed giant leader, interrogates her. Catching her royal scent, Fallon realizes she is a direct descendant of King Eric, the monarch who banished their kind. Enraged, Fallon rallies the giants, declaring she will be cooked and eaten as retribution. The foraging giant returns to the hall with his new prisoners, proving to Fallon that more humans have crossed into Gantua. Fallon grabs one of the captured guards and demands to know how they entered the realm, but the soldier refuses to speak. Before Fallon can execute him, Roderick steps into the grand hall wearing the magic crown. The relic's power takes hold instantly, forcing General Fallon and every giant in the hall to their knees. Roderick reveals his ultimate scheme, using the giants as an unstoppable army to invade Earth and conquer all human kingdoms. Navigating the fortress undetected, Jack slips past heavily guarded checkpoints and wanders into a vast vault filled with stolen treasure. Leaving the gold behind, he presses forward through a labyrinth of dark stone corridors to find Isabel. Hearing her distant cries for help, Jack quietly tracks the sound straight into the fortress kitchen. Inside the kitchen, the giant chef prepares Elmont to be cooked, slathering him in flour and wrapping him in pastry dough alongside pigs. Isabel spots Jack sneaking in and signals him to rescue Elmont first. Jack creeps down, cuts a slit in the dough, and slips a dagger into Elmont's hand. Just as the giant pierces the pastry with large wooden skewers and slides it into the hot oven, Elmont uses the blade to cut himself free from the inside. The giant chef then turns his attention to Isabel, pulling her from her cage and placing her on the prep table. As the monster raises a massive cleaver to strike, Jack drops from above, plunging a heavy blade straight into the monster's back. The thrashing monster smashes into a stone wall and dies instantly, making Jack the first human in history to slay a giant. Reunited, the trio rushes toward the edge of the floating island, only to find a sentinel giant guarding the descent point. Spotting a wild beehive hanging from a nearby branch, Jack formulates a plan. While the sentinel slumbers, Elmont quietly unlatches the monster's helmet, allowing Jack to slide the hive inside with a long stick. The stinging swarm drives the giant into a frantic frenzy, causing him to lose his footing and plunge over the cliff edge. With the passage clear, Elmont orders Jack to lead Isabel down the beanstalk to safety. He stays behind to confront Roderick and reclaim the magic crown. Down on Earth, the falling sentinel giant crashes directly in front of a group of praying monks, giving King Bromwell undeniable proof that the legendary monsters have returned. Fearing a full-scale invasion, the king makes the agonizing choice to cut down the beanstalk, risking his daughter's life to protect his entire kingdom. Back at the summit, Roderick prepares to lead the giant army down the vine to launch their assault on Earth. Ambushing him from the shadows, Elmont tackles Roderick into a nearby cavern, sending a pouch of stolen magic beans scattering across the ground. General Fallon orders his lieutenants to smash heavy boulders around the entrance, sealing the cavern. Inside, Roderick pins Elmont to a ledge, gloating as he prepares to deliver a killing blow. Taking advantage of Roderick's hesitation, Elmont draws a hidden dagger and stabs him through the chest. A falling boulder crushes Roderick, and Fallon reaches into the rubble to retrieve the magic crown, placing it on his head to assume absolute control over the giant army. Down on Earth, King Bromwell's forces finish chopping through the base of the massive beanstalk. As the roots snap, the giant vine collapses toward Earth. Holding on to Isabel as the stalk falls, Jack leaps onto a large hay bale to break their fall. Elmont also leaps clear, landing safely in the river below. Reunited with her father, Isabel is safely restored to the kingdom. King Bromwell offers Jack a reward for saving his daughter, but royal protocol dictates a commoner can never marry a princess. Accepting the reality of their separate worlds, Jack gives Isabel his beloved childhood book as a farewell gift. At the summit of Gantua, General Fallon discovers Roderick's dropped pouch containing the remaining 5 magic beans. He hurls them into a mountain stream, instantly sprouting 5 massive new beanstalks that connect Gantua to Earth. Fallon commands the entire giant army to climb down the vines to begin the invasion. Meanwhile, at his farm, Jack notices the sky darkening in the reflection of his water trough. Realizing the danger, he rides frantically toward the city, ordering the monks to ring the ancient war bells to warn the kingdom. The monks ring the ancient monastery bell, sounding a war alarm for the first time in 1,000 years. King Bromwell does not yet understand the warning, and by the time Jack catches up to the royal procession, the giants are already charging out of the forest. Moving faster than horses, the monsters smash the rear guards with hammers, sending soldiers flying. One giant rips apart a wooden windmill and hurls it into the crowd, knocking the king's crown from his head. Taking advantage of the dense tree line to delay the horde, the royal convoy retreats to the city walls. Recognizing the threat, the city guards sound the evacuation alarms. Elmont takes command on the battlements, ordering 5 tons of tar poured into the surrounding moat. Archers draw flaming arrows and loose them into the moat, igniting a roaring wall of fire. On the battlements, soldiers scramble to crank the heavy drawbridge shut. Jack sprints toward the gate, making a desperate leap onto the rising wooden bridge. Pursuing closely behind, General Fallon grabs the edge of the drawbridge to force it open. Elmont orders his archers to concentrate their fire on the giant, driving Fallon to lose his grip and plunge into the flaming moat. The remaining giants make no effort to save their leader. Unbeknownst to the humans, Fallon survives underwater, quietly swimming through the city's drainage channels toward the palace. The giant horde launches a second assault, launching massive iron hooks to pull the drawbridge back down. Their overwhelming strength snaps the castle's internal winches, forcing the gates open. Elmont hooks the drawbridge from inside to lock it down. Outside, the giants hurl flaming trees over the battlements to crush the human defense. With the outer gates buckling, King Bromwell instructs Isabel and Jack to head into his palace chambers. There, a secret passage leads to the monastery beacon, allowing them to signal neighboring kingdoms for help. As Jack and Isabel enter the palace, the floorboards shatter as General Fallon erupts from below. The giant corners the pair, instantly grabbing Isabel and pinning Jack to the ground. Just as Fallon opens his mouth to eat Isabel, Jack pulls out his hidden magic bean and throws it directly into Fallon's throat. The bean reacts instantly to Fallon's internal moisture, sprouting a massive stalk that violently explodes through the giant's body, killing him on the spot. As the body collapses, King Eric's magic crown slips from Fallon's hand. Outside, the giants break through the castle gates to deliver the final blow. Before they can strike, the castle wall ruptures as the giant vine bursts through the roof. Jack steps out wearing the magic crown, forcing the entire giant horde to drop their weapons and bow in total submission. With the giants banished back to Gantua, Jack is hailed as a hero, earning the right to marry Princess Isabel and bring peace back to the kingdom. So what did you think of the movie? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe for more movie recaps.